What's up, guys? Welcome to the Axios Fux podcast, the number one podcast in the world, the realest. And we're getting started with what? Is this episode 27?
27.
27. That means 27 weeks of doing this. And we launched the Axios Army last week. We already have 18 members.
Platoon. It's a straight platoon. Like it's like the small militia that's going to turn into the U.S. military.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
The nation was formed. The nation was formed on small militias, and now today you have one big U.S. Army. So we're going to be the U.S. Army, but we want to make it where it's going to be. We're also going to have separate small groups. You're going to have what would be considered the Navy SEALs.
Oh yeah.
Right? So,
we already have a Navy recruiter in there, Brandon.
Yeah. That's what we should do. We got to get some people from the military in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we started off with 3 people. It was me, you, and Adnan. And then slowly, day by day, we've almost been adding one new person every day.
Yeah.
It's not even been a week since our last podcast.
Dude, there's so much energy in there. Like, these are like big dudes. Like, these are big dudes.
Facts. Yeah. They're actually doing stuff. And they're wanting to get better. That's the best part. And it's like, me and you, we always have talked about the fact that it's always been so difficult to find people with the same mindset.
Yeah.
So difficult. And you know what we did? We just created it. We created it ourselves. Like, because if you find a problem, if you can create a solution to that problem, that's what innovation is. That's what entrepreneurship is. And now we're bringing people together that are all on the same page, and they can kind of flourish in there, and it's theirs. You know, one thing that I told them today in the group, told everyone, is the fact that this is their group, you know, and it's their group because they can use it how they wish. If they want accountability, boom, it's there. If they want networking, boom, it's there. If they want, motivation, boom, it's there.
Like, dude, who like, you see some big dude, you see this dude sending a pic after the gym, and he's a big dude.
Yeah,
you see all these things going on, Spartan race, you working out in Colombia. Like, just being in that environment is...
Oh, that's so valuable.
It's so valuable because you don't want to be the chump. I mean, 50 to probably 75% of those people in there are big dogs. Like, they're big dudes.
Yeah. Oh, facts. You're right. You're so right about that. It's just like, it automatically elevates you. And it's crazy.
You don't want to be this, like, I don't want to say simp, but you don't want to be like the sucker in that group.
You don't. Yeah, you don't. And you know, you want to be the person that feels good about talking up. And everyone should feel that way, but your own personal ethics are going to tell you not to speak up until you're at a certain point that you feel comfortable with.
Dude, you know what I like?
What?
This group, what's cool about it is, like, let's say, for example, this is just an example, hypothetically speaking.
We'll just make this, maybe we make this one about the Axios Army, or maybe a couple thoughts at the end about your race and about a couple of days in Colombia for me.
Yeah. We'll do, I have one big thing I just thought about it. It's like, dude, if you post, let's be honest, if you post like a picture, let's say, of post-workout on any social media platform, you have a small group that are like, wow, great job.
Yep.
Then you have a group that says, oh, wow, that's amazing, but they covertly hate you because of it.
Facts.
Then you have the group that says, you know, what a loser, probably behind your back, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the people who say nothing, right?
Yeah.
So this type of group, like, if you got something good going on, like, we're going to be like actually saying great job. You know what I'm saying by that?
Facts. That's the best.
If someone says something poor about you doing a great job, anything, like, you're getting booted.
Facts. Oh, of course. No, I totally agree. And one thing that I was listening to this guy, his name is Brandon Carter, I think. He said some real shit today. He was like, one of my high school buddies called me up. He was like, hey, my wife's, she's just yapping. She's in my ear all the time. And this guy, Brandon, he's a realist, like, dude, he's just a real one. And he was like, I haven't talked to this cat in freaking 5 years since high school, or 10 or whatever. And he was like, yeah, well, maybe it's because you're a bitch. He's like, you're fat. He's like, you're fat. You're not making real money. You're sitting on the couch. eating chips and
Yeah,
watching
don't give
Netflix.
her a reason. Don't give her a reason to be yapping in your ear.
Yeah,
It's your
yeah.
fault, dude.
And that's the thing. I was like, damn, this dude, he like imagine a group of people who they call you out on your bullshit. Like, dude, do you know how much balls it takes to tell your friend you're fat as fuck, dude? Like, or dude, you're like you gotta fix something. And it doesn't have to be so
Mean
crass,
or
like
like.
it doesn't have to be so mean. And I
But dude,
tend to
the thing is, like, we're not like my biggest pet peeve is seeing someone who doesn't look great. They don't look physically healthy. Like, you can't tell me if you're 150 pounds overweight, you're healthy. Like,
no.
that's you just can't tell me that. That's
No,
physically
you can't.
impossible. Your heart cannot pump blood like that. So
Yeah, exactly. You're right. It is when you get down to like the biological aspects of it, it is pretty black and white with the fact that, dude, you really shouldn't be that way. You
yeah,
know what I mean? That's for
I'm
you.
not going to tell you. I mean, I think the whole thing is like if anyone was to tell me if I'm like super overweight or I look like shit or anything like that, they're to tell me you look great or you should be proud of yourself or don't worry about it. Like that's like hostile. I find it to be hostile a little bit.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
want
do
me to
too.
shrink.
Yeah, yeah. You mean when they don't say something, right?
They don't say something when they say it's fine. It's like, what's your problem?
Right. And I want it to be very clear to the listeners. We do not like if it came a point where like, we have an event, which I think we're gonna end up having events and shit, like in the future, it's not like people are just gonna come up to you and just be like, hey, what's up, fat ass? But what you will realize is that
You
you
won't be
are
there.
your flaws are gonna be exposed through the group in a such a natural beneficial way because people they're just all about growth. And like you said in your story today, Vasily, is that you need all your dynamics going up. So if you see, for example, somebody posting, hey, yo, I just made 10 racks today, or another guy saying, hey, yo, check out my physique, that exposes maybe an insecurity of yours that is going to want to make you, out of your own personal ethics, level up.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to happen. It's not going to be somebody calling you out. You're
No.
going to see somebody doing good shit, and you're going to want to compensate.
You're gonna want to compensate. Yeah. You're not, and that's the thing too. It's like this is the problem. It's the agreement of the environment. So if you're to walk in a room, this was some course I did. Maybe you can remember this course, but if you're going to walk in a room with a bunch of, let's just say in this scenario, drug dealers, right? You're going to walk in a room with a bunch of drug dealers. You're not a drug dealer before you walk in the room, but you end up walking in that room and you have to stay in that room for the next 45 days. Just an agreement with the environment of staying in there. Naturally, you're going to lean towards being a drug dealer, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not even that you want to do it. So in this case, you're going to have people that aren't doing so great, but majority are doing better than the average person. So just naturally you're getting pulled. In other scenarios, there's like one or two people that are doing really well and then 98 other people that are doing shit. So there's 98 other people are just talking trash about those two people at the top.
Exactly.
So you need like an overall, like the majority being doing a little bit better to pull up that small minority of people who are doing poor.
Yeah. And phase two is literally going to be an incubator for success in every realm, because once you start putting into place some daily disciplines and habits, your whole life starts transforming. Like
Yeah.
if you're waking up early, you're doing you're tracking certain metrics in your own business, which we can't tell you because everyone in the group has a different career. I mean, there are a couple of salespeople but like everyone is doing their own thing. So it's just a certain level of discipline that if you can put into your life, which is going to be phase two, it's going to be more like controlled in a way,
Yeah.
not controlled, but like more accountability.
Yeah.
And I think people will that will be like a streamlined incubator to being better, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. But we'll go, Christian. I mean, like we'll do a couple things. So you can start talking about last week you were headed to
Yeah, it was the night before, right? Night
how do
before
you say
your
it?
release.
Colombia.
It's Colombia.
Colombia. So night before we did one, then you left the next day. Like so far, what do you got to say about that place?
So obviously there's like some shit that sucks, but how I described it to you, I'll tell the listeners. The poorest of the poor in the US live way better than the poorest of the poor here. So if you're poor, I don't think anyone would want to live here. But if you're, let's say you're making average wage, I think you're probably living, I think your quality of life would be better here versus the US. And then if you're rich, you live good regardless. So that didn't really matter. But so I mean, I'm for example, the average wage for minimum wage, I believe, is $1,000 a month in US dollars, but you'd have to transfer that to, it's like 4 million pesos.
Are you using pesos?
Yeah, it's pesos.
Peso.
And so I mean, I'm living very good comparatively. So it's amazing. I mean, the food is phenomenal. The people, I love it. Like, I mean, from the fact that girls like will actually pull out their wallet, like, and really insist on paying for you.
Yeah.
They will be extremely like attentive. They don't, from my experience, right? They won't have their phone, like be on their phone when you're like out with them and stuff.
Yeah.
It's less of that.
More present.
I really like that. What?
It's probably more present.
A lot more present. A lot more, like, I mean, more willing to, you know, be like have a good time, be in the present, like you said. So the food's good. The people are very nice, obviously. And then the country's absolutely beautiful. I mean, you've seen the pictures and stuff. The country's absolutely beautiful.
What about is there single families or majority of people living in these condos?
No, these are I asked somebody and she said mostly condos here.
Mm-hmm.
The areas with the single families is actually more ghetto area.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it is. But yeah, I mean, the nightlife is crazy. I mean, last night on a Monday, the bars don't start popping until 12, and then they'll go till like probably 4, and then there's some places that will go till noon the next day.
Oh my God.
Party life is awesome. Everything is really, really actually pretty incredible. Like, I mean, I really don't have many complaints. I mean, I'm also learning Spanish. Everyone I talk to is my Spanish teacher, which is
great.
priceless, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I got to say.
Awesome.
What about your race, dude?
Dude, it was, so I went with Connor, and to be completely honest with you, I didn't do much research besides knowing it was like the sixth hardest in the US. Okay. Yeah. So we prepared a lot. We ate right. We hydrated a lot. Everything you could do right, we did. And pulling up to the race, we realized we're really freaking high up. Like the starting point was really high up. Like you could see, you had to look down a mountain. Like where you were, where the starting was, you were looking down a mountain. So you're already on a mountain. It's a resort, ski resort. So it was 14 miles. It peaked at 9,300 feet of elevation, which Boston, it's like sea level. So
yeah, Boston's like 8 meters above sea level or something.
Nothing. So the first 8 miles were really freaking bad. It was all up and down. There was at some point, so you'd go up, you'd hike up a hill, and then you'd peak off, you'd plateau, and then you'd keep on going, then you'd plateau, then you keep on going, then you'd come down, then you'd come around.
Down the worst? Is going down the worst?
On your quads, for sure.
That's what I heard.
So what it was at one point, it just, we kept on thinking this has got to be the last hill, because these hills are so steep that like you have to grab onto the rocks to pull yourself up at some points.
Okay.
Yeah. So at one point it was just like, when is this going to end? And then there was this final hill, and it was 1 mile straight up.
Jeez. And you can only go so fast. So
you can't go fast because you'll fall back. Like you'll actually fall back because you're so tired. Like your heart is pounding because the elevation, you can't pull in enough oxygen, and just the work itself is so difficult. So up until mile 8, it was fine. I mean, the heat, the lower point of the mountain was hotter than the higher point. There's more of a wind chill. But after mile 8, that's when every part of my body cramped. Like the teardrops of your quads, which is right above your knees, both sides were cramped. My hamstring cramped when I kicked a rock. I was running through a trail. I kicked a rock on accident, and the entire part of my hammy cramped. Then the inner part of my thighs cramped, and it was really freaking bad. It was really freaking bad for a while until once I finished, I was like, thank God. They gave me a White Claw. When you finish, they give you like a free drink. I had a White Claw. I was like, this made me feel so much better. Got on the Uber, 10 minutes away from the hotel, started getting the cold chills. Got into the hotel and got very sick, started getting cramps all throughout my chest and my abs.
Jeez.
And I was so drained. Like some of the pictures I'm looking at now, like the under of my eyes were just, it was pitch black. Just really tough, but everyone has to do something like that to see. And they have to go into it blindly almost.
Yeah.
You see what you're made of. That was like Connor did really well. He didn't cramp up as bad as I did, but like, you know, he almost fell off the side of the mountain.
Jeez. That would have been a crappy day.
Yeah. So everyone's got to do it. Hot, very hot. At one point it was like probably 95 to 100 or 101. Really, really crazy elevation, a lot of running, a lot of obstacles. But the biggest fear the entire time was the cramps.
Damn.
Legs.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's crazy. I remember when you signed up for it, and that was a while ago, but you didn't really prepare.
I didn't prepare for it like this. Like I didn't know like it was going to be that crazy. But
and you can't really prepare for that elevation just a few days before.
No, like
I mean, I came here in Medellin. It's 1,400 meters elevation, so it's pretty high. It's not as high as where you were, but
yeah.
The first day I started getting headaches, and I thought I was dehydrated, but it wasn't. It was just because I think the elevation I was running, and I couldn't like run half a mile.
No, dude, I got goes out the window. I got elevation sickness. I got elevation sickness for sure. Mm-hmm. I probably overheated. Everything wrong. The worst. It was probably one of the worst feelings I've ever felt in my life. Was getting to the hotel, like at that moment, I freaked out. It was the worst pain probably I've ever experienced. But at the end of the day, it was like, you know, just another level or another realization of what I could put myself through and finish.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, okay. But we can wrap this up. You guys, if you guys want to get some information about the group, feel free to reach out to Christian or I on our Instagram. Shoot us a DM. And we'll give you guys a rundown. If you want to join, we'll have a couple questions to basically screen you, and we'll be good to go. Oh yeah. Okay, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next week. Okay, dude. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night, Christian. Okay, you too. Peace.